Aaron, good to see you, buddy.
Hey, it's good to be here.
Where do we start? We got like 3 places, I thought. Where should we start? Where do you want to start?
Where do you want to start? We've got a little history. It's kind of our anniversary.
I think that'd be good to do.
Yeah, it's all right. Hey, happy anniversary, brother.
Is it our anniversary?
I think so. I don't know.
So I think what would be interesting for me is if we told both versions
Yes.
of whatever story ended us in a place where we were temporarily unhealthy with each other.
Yeah. And what's crazy is when you think about it, you know how like as time moves on, the story gets better? Like 10 years later, this could be good.
You go first.
Okay, so golly, it's been 10 years ago, which is wild. So we had this album come out in 2011 called Real Good Time. I was in a great place had a wife. I still have had a wife. This is going to get me in trouble right off the bat. But my wife and I, we had Jake, Jack, and Jolie. You know, they're like ages, I don't know, 5, 4, and 3. We had them back to back to back. And Real Good Time comes out, and I remember I got a call, and they were like, "You're not going to believe this, but your album charted top 10 on Country Billboard." And for me, I was an independent artist. I wasn't looking for anything beyond that. I was just really happy where I was at. But I got to thinking, well, what if I got a real producer? And what if we, instead of just like making a record and just throwing it out there was some strategy involved. So I got in touch with Keith Stegall, which, you know, legendary producer, did all Alan Jackson stuff. And we worked on this album called The Underdog. And so we finished the Underdog album, and then we held on to it for maybe like 9 months and tried to work strategy. And the album came out, and it became a number 1, and which was huge for us, you know. And I don't think really back then I really understood that was quite the feat, because things are much different now. I don't think people really pay a lot of attention to some of that stuff, but it was the first independent album to chart number 1 for a guy, and I was super excited about that. And we were trying to get a song to radio. We had a song called That Look that I still feel like could just be a hit today. And so we're trying to convince, it was during CRS, I think. We were trying to, like, we're meeting with all of these program directors, trying to convince them to play us. But I don't know. I feel like back then, independent artists weren't as celebrated, maybe, as they are now. I kind of felt like I was looked at like a bad guy. And I think at the end of the day, you know, my career, it's no different than if I had a lawn care business. It was just the family business. Like, literally, when I'm working, I'm thinking about one thing. There's a certain number I need to make a month so that I can take care of all my guys in the band and all the employees, because they depend on me for that. So there's always that goal. So at the end of the day, there is always that on me. Like, I have to take care of my boys. And so I felt like we were here battling for the, you know, going to war for the business, the family business, you know, trying to say, hey, we're not these outlaw Texas artists, you know, and then I end up breaking into your place, basically. So we'll get to that, you know, which kind of makes me go, okay, maybe I was a little more of that than what I thought. But I will never forget. I know the exact time and place where I got, I guess, tagged on it was Facebook. It was Facebook. It was a Facebook post. But Keith Stegall, we were at dinner, kind of celebrating the number 1. And we were literally talking about how, like, I think we can get mainstream radio to jump on this stuff. We could hire a radio team. We can do this. You know, at that point, I was like, maybe a label would even want a part of this. And it was either me or Keith somehow got, and it's been too long ago, but I can't remember. In my mind, it's like a 7-paragraph thing. I have it somewhere on a computer, and it was well written.
What was written?
What I can remember is it was nothing really against me. It was, I think, I probably should have read that and been more prepared when I came in here, but I think what you were kind of getting at was where music was at that time.
Did I actually write something?
Oh, yeah.
Got it.
And
Did I write it about you?
yeah.
Got it. As you can tell, I'm not prepared either.
Okay.
Because my version of this is way different because yours actually has like a story behind it and like a reason.
Mhm.
Mine was just, I was just running hot, but go ahead.
So at the end of your 7-paragraph thing, I'll text it to you when I got it somewhere.
I probably don't want to cringe, so you keep it.
Well, at the end of it, it said something like, I like Aaron, but just because he has a #1 album doesn't mean that he belongs on mainstream radio. That is what made me go, dude, we got to go see that guy. So Keith contacted someone, and I started running hot too. I mean, I don't run as hot as I used to.
Same.
I'm running a little.
Me too.
Currently, I can't. Here's how unhot I am at the moment. I can't. It hurts to shake with my right hand because my 18-year-old boy did some jujitsu thing on me, and now I'm wounded. I'm. And he actually laughed at me, and he goes, "Oh, Dad, did I hurt your little moneymaker?" I run so unhot now that I just retreated from that smart aleck comment. So what I remember is Keith reached out to somebody that maybe worked for you, and he was like, man, they don't have time. And I was like, well, tell him they have time. He just wrote this long paragraph. I'm trying to get mainstream radio to play me, and literally the biggest DJ in all of country music said, like, I don't deserve to be played. So for me, it was more like, I didn't want to fight you. I wanted to be like, dude, listen to this album. We slaved over this thing. Like, this is a competitive mainstream country album. And my thing is, it was Texas music. And that was my big argument 10 years ago to every label. I said, Texas music is a great version of country music. And there are artists, and I said it back then, I said, there's this kid named Cody Johnson that's going to blow y'all's minds. And there's a whole bunch of him back in Texas. And you know, and that just wasn't the vibe. And as I've gotten older, I understand that it's phases and stages and stuff like that. But so I don't remember. I can't accurately say exactly what it was, but I think maybe someone that worked for you said we don't have time to meet with him. And then maybe 3 or 4 glasses of wine later, I was like, you know what I ought to do? I ought to show up at his place tomorrow. Because my thought was this: you hear the legendary stories about Chris Christopherson, like renting a helicopter and flying into Johnny Cash's compound. And basically, I based my whole attack on that. And it was pretty funny. But so before I remember waking up early in the morning, and I don't know if it was 5:30 or 6 in the morning, but I remember the doors were locked. And I know exactly where I was at. You walk up the steps and I'm on the right side. This little lady walks up, and I guess she had the code, because she opens the door, and as the door is shutting, dude, I gave the whoop, and I caught the door before it closed. Dude, so I mosey in like I'm fixing to rob a bank. And I go sit down. And I think I was thinking about, like, so you have a wife and 3 kids, and this is your career. My mom, I have the sweetest mom and dad. And she's like, take a moment and think about the decisions you're fixing to make. And what's so bad is I've told my mom, oh, I did. I thought about it. I knew it was a bad decision, and Mom, I just did it anyways. But I remember that. I think I built up the courage at some point after I snuck into your place to ask to speak to you. I remember, I think it was your producer, Elaine?
Mm-hmm. Elena.
And I can't remember, but I think she basically told me, it was very unprofessional to just show up unannounced. And I probably was like, yeah, well, I'm not professional. I probably popped off and said some smart aleck thing because if you know me, that's I've gotten a few butt kickings through the years because of my mouth. But what set her off, I said, will you tell Bobby that I will sit down here in this lobby all day long until he has time for me to at least shake his hand and give him this album. I said, if he has time to write that Facebook post, he has time to shake my hand. And she said, well, something. And I popped off at her. And she said something. Then I went, thank you, sweetheart. And I saw fire in her eyes. And I felt suddenly like a second grader when you make your teacher mad and you know. Yeah. And then a large man, I don't know if he, in my mind now it's gotten better, but I feel like he picked me up by the back of my shirt and hoisted me out. And so I walked out with my manager at the time and he said, how'd it go? I go, well, that did not go so well. That was not my Christopherson, Johnny Cash moment that I was hoping for. And then, dude, we turn on the radio and I hear you go, who? What did he do? And dude, and it was like, next thing you know, my phone, oh gosh, it was, yeah. And those were the end of my outlaw days. I have not broke into any place. I was a changed man after that. I didn't like the feeling of, breaking and entering.
That's funny, the breaking and entering part, because a big part of my career is I broke into another radio station and took over their airwaves.
Dude, that's awesome.
It's now looking back, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But there was a time that I could have really been in a lot of trouble because we took over their airwaves. Like, we locked everybody out and then took over on the phone and drove around the city. And like, we FCC violated many things that day.
Yeah.
So when you say that and you're like, I knew I wasn't, that's how I felt the whole time. I was also breaking into a radio station.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, too, let me say this about you, because there's a lot of artists, even in this town, everyone talks about being some outlaws, but just because you don't dress the part, I mean, me and you, I mean, I don't know that I've ever dropped a 4-letter word on a podcast or radio before, but this is some outlaw shit, And you look at us.
We were very much in a similar place at that time.
Definitely. But you know what it was? Before you tell your story, I'll say this. After the, after we cooled off a little bit, and the more I got to know about you and see what you're all about, I was like, that dude's just like me, but he's got glasses.
Same, except he wears a cowboy hat. That's kind of how I felt.
Yeah.
I don't remember the Facebook post at all. So I would love to even see it. At first, I was like, Mike, if you find it, if you happen to go back 10 years.
I was looking for it.
Mike wasn't even born.
He was. I would love to read it because I'm curious as to where my head was then. 10 years, my version of this is, if it was 10 years ago, I hadn't been here very long. The town hated my guts.
Yeah.
I was a bull in a china shop with anybody who they could have pushed me out of the way of a car, and I was like, you pushed me, it's time to fight.
Yeah.
And so anyone trying to assert any direction or authority on me, we're going to fight, because I had to fight forever to get there. So
Absolutely.
I thought everybody was coming for me, so I was going to take everybody down before they got to me.
Yeah.
That's very much my headspace, and not just specifically towards you, but it's what made my first few years here very difficult. I do think, though, in the same way that you have success, my success now is based on those first 3 or 4 years of just fighting everybody. Because one, I think it got me a lot of respect. And two, I got to be myself very unapologetically. I didn't have to play the game.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't want to play the Nashville game. I didn't want to play the Nashville game.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
When I moved here, they were like, you got to wear a cowboy hat and you got to act like a little more of, and I'm like, dude, there's a difference in trailer park country like I was and cowboy country, and both count.
Both count.
But I'm not going to be a version of the country that I'm not.
Yeah.
And so the only thing I remember was Elena showing up, and she said, hey, there's somebody out front. And again, this is so long ago.
Yeah, it's so long ago, bro.
And I was like, I'm in the middle of a show.
Yeah.
I'm not going out there. And secondly, I don't meet people about music ever.
Yeah.
Because although I can like spike music here and there and play what I want, I don't want to play music. I don't want to be known for that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm not going to meet anybody out there. And she's like, I'll go meet him. And she comes back pissed.
Yeah.
The only thing that I remember is that my person was pissed.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have mattered if you would have said, hey, hope you have a good day. But she was pissed and she felt offended.
Yeah.
Anybody that came after and you didn't come after, I don't feel like now, knowing you, you came after her. I feel like it was, both people were in a place that it was a bit awkward. You were in an awkward place. She was in an awkward place. And I was like, if you're offended, I'm offended. And I like to fight. Let's go after him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what it was. And so, yeah, I just was like, let's just burn it all down. I don't know this person.
Yeah.
I'll burn anything down right now. And then I did. And I remember it was all about her saying that you called her sweetheart. And in my head, I'm like, dude, I grew up in Arkansas.
I was shocked. I said, man, I remember someone interviewed me and I said, all I know is this. Do not call a girl in Nashville, Tennessee a sweetheart. Because that does not. But you know what's hilarious? We ate it. It was like a couple of days later, we were still here. We were at one of those, like, what do they call it? The hot chicken?
Like one of the hot chicken places? What's the one called, Mike, the big one?
There.
As you can see, we don't really go to the Statue of Liberty down here.
I'm still on Facebook.
Well, we were at
Hattie B's.
Yeah, I think we were at Hattie B's.
Yeah,
Actually, it was Hattie B's. And I ordered something, and the lady was like, can I get you anything else, sweetheart? And I was like, ooh. And I was like, oh, what did she just call me? What that lady just, no, but yeah. No, and you know, I will say this. I knew that's what it was.
She was offended. I wasn't offended.
Yeah.
But because she was offended.
Yeah, totally.
My person's upset. I'm upset.
You got to take care of your people.
And I wasn't there to see it. And also, again, I'm from a small town in Arkansas. Everybody called everybody sweetheart.
Yeah.
So even if you'd have called me that, well, that might have been different. I'd have thought maybe you thought I was cute.
Yeah.
But
like, he's a really nice guy.
I wouldn't have been offended had she not been out of her mind, mad. And I'm like, okay, I got you. And that was it. And so I went with it. You went with it. It got to be kind of fun for a second. And then the more people I knew that knew you, even second layer, they were like, he's a good guy. Like and that's what they tell me. He's kind of got a mouth like you.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. And then it just kind of faded away.
Yeah.
But for me, it was never, because there are some people from that long ago that I have no relationship with because I really became offended. With you, I never felt that way. Actually, I followed. I mean, I messaged you a few weeks ago and I was like, dude, you were killing it. Like, I guess I don't even think about that version of us.
Yeah. Well, we were both, you're very right, because also what happened to me is I love country music. I just love it. When it comes to baseball and country music are the two things that my dad we've always had together. You know, even when I was a teenager and I was being a turd, if it was involved baseball or country music, me and Dad were suddenly best buds again, and we would get along. And that's still the same thing today. You know, it's like I'm ready to get back home, so he's ready to come over to the house and hear the new Waylon Songbird album, and he wants to hear it on vinyl at the house. And so country music means a lot to me. And so I've never been like, I want to be a big country star. I kind of looked up to guys like Guy Clark and Robert Earl Keen. I've always kind of been infatuated with these country boys that can just sing their songs on a stool and make a living. And I love business. So I'm good at that. And so when I was in college, I thought to myself, okay, I don't want to be George Strait. That's, you know, if it were to go there, then that would be cool. But I had a very realistic business plan. I thought to myself, if I can play shows and break even, paying the band and all the expenses, if I could sell just 3,000, 4,000 CDs a year out of the back of the van, I'd make more than I would make if I was going to be a baseball coach in high school. It was really that simple. and then it grew from there. But that week was an interesting week because I thought that having a number one album would be celebrated. And earlier that week, what happened is that's when the president of Sony, Gary Overton, said, if you're not played on, that's what your article was about. Oh my gosh, it just hit me. Your thing was about Gary Overton made a comment. He said, if you're not played on mainstream radio, then you don't exist. Well, then I've got a smart mouth. I got interviewed by like one of the big papers here and then whatever the paper is in London.
Obviously, because that makes sense. Yeah, here in London. Yeah.
It was the weirdest thing. I was like, and Rolling Stone was, I mean, you have to realize at this point, I've already been doing this for 15 years. I have never experienced this kind of thing in my life. And all of a sudden, they're like, hey, Rolling Stone wants to talk to you. And I'm like, Rolling Stone? And so they asked me. Gary Overton, the president of Sony, said, if you don't get played on mainstream radio, you don't exist. They said, what would your response be to him? And I said, well, I guess I'd walk up to him, shake his hand, and go, hey, Mr. Overton, my name's Aaron Watson, and I got the number one country album this week, so I guess I kind of sort of exist. Well, that started going viral, and next thing you know, people started, and I at that point, I accidentally threw him under the bus, and I started, it was a wild thing, and I am a guy, I am pro artist. I wave the flag for all artists, whether they're on a label, whether they're independent. Obviously, I really cater towards the independent kids because I can tell them something that I can actually sit some of these kids down and go, tell me your numbers. Okay, no, don't even think about a bus right now. Don't even think about this right now. No, you don't need to hire a social media person. You need a front of house guy because your band sounds horrible out front. I can help an artist. There are mainstream young artists that because I've probably almost got 3,000 shows under my belt that I could say, tell me what you're doing. Because I've made a lot of mistakes. And they may be 100 million times more talented than me, raw talent, but I've honed my craft over 25 years, 3,000 shows or whatever it is. But that was a crazy week for me just because of all of a sudden, all this heightened publicity. I mean, I was already selling out every show I played in the South, in Texas and everywhere we would go. So it wasn't like I was new. It was literally, I'd been doing it for 15 years already. I was like, people would talk to me like, well, like I'm some new artist. And I'm like, well, I mean, 15 years ago I was. I got a wife and 3 kids. Come on.
You're sure I just was never a guy that wrote stuff. I mean, I wrote books.
Yeah, I'm very sure.
Yeah. I'm not saying I didn't.
No, yeah, I have it somewhere. I'll send it to you. It wasn't, here's the deal. It didn't offend me. It's almost very parallel with what you just said with you weren't mad at me for saying sweetheart. It was more the fact that she worked for you and she was upset. You were more, now that we're talking about it, a lot of this is coming back to me. I think you were addressing the fact that Gary Overton made a very bold statement about.
I don't know Gary Overton.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you find it?
I found it, yeah.
Okay, can you text it to me?
Yeah.
Or just hand me a computer or something? I would love to see it because these are my sleeping pill years.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this. It's so funny because I will still have people come up to me and ask me about you, and I go, we're friends now. We're good now.
Let me read this. And I wrote this. Okay, here we go. In the Bobby Bones Facebook letter. God, I can't believe I wrote on Facebook. This article. So I wrote the S word?
Looks like it, yeah.
Wow, I haven't said a single curse word in 6 or 7 years.
You're refined now.
That's crazy. Okay, I'm just going to read it and cringe afterward.
Okay.
In the article about country radio being out of touch because Aaron Watson isn't getting played is absurd. Not because the title is wrong, but because of why they wrote it. First off, in a few ways, country radio is out of touch. I get S for playing awesome 90s songs on the air because we are new country. So many suits throw tantrums because of it. Then they do research and said, you know what? People actually like 90s country. No S. I can save you research money about 95% of the time. But not playing Aaron Watson isn't the reason there's any sort of disconnect. Radio, purchasing music is a singles game now. The old internet allows us to buy one song at a time, so we do. Rarely does anyone buy an album anymore, usually only if it's one of our favorite artists. This is why the world flipped when Taylor sold over 1 million, which is unheard of in a week now. I like Aaron, but I just checked, and he doesn't have a single song in the top 100 on iTunes. And last time I checked, radio doesn't play albums, they play songs. I love radio, and radio's changing every day. The days of it being just in your car or through a transmitter are coming to an end. Dang, I was really ahead of it.
Yeah, you were.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah, you were.
It's going to be in your car, but in your Wi-Fi. Mine already is. Spotify, iHeartRadio, podcasts, that's the landscape. Radio, for now, is still king, but the king realizes that other people are invading its territory. And it's cool that iHeartRadio, which was created by my radio company. I think I was just like saying I am part of a company that does that. I don't know, I wrote that terrible. Radio still dominates, and quote, you only play the same artist over and over is what I hear all the time. Note, I don't pick the music. But yeah, you know why? Because people love and they're buying those songs right now. It's a ratings game. Just like the local news, it's a business. Radio's about hit songs, not hit albums. Hopefully a song that you check out on an album and you buy is then, if the album is great, it'll thrive regardless of radio play. See Beck, Casey Musgraves, etc. Within any industry, the cream always rises to the top. However, the article is dumb. Side note, I've been scolded twice for playing Johnny Cash on the air twice in the last 2 days. Side note 2, I also played Aaron Watson on the air earlier in the week, way before the article, and said I really liked the song. So I'm pro Aaron Watson. I'm just anti that his album sales have anything to do with radio being disconnected. Side note 3, what's up, Aaron? I'm a fan. Don't take this as a personal shot. Everybody check out the album. The album will not be played on the show. Signed, Bobby Bones.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I still kind of stand by it. Most of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was all good stuff. And I think that's where the what's up, Aaron, I was like, for me, I'm a very realistic person. Like the last 3 albums that I've made, I have not even thought about pushing nationally because I can listen to them and go, I'm not going to spend my kids' inheritance. I'm not going to gamble their inheritance on this music.
I think my point with that, though, wasn't anything to do with anybody's album.
No, totally.
It's that just because an album exists doesn't mean that a song should have to be forced down whatever radio was becoming.
Totally.
So I don't even think it was about you.
No, it wasn't. It was like the Gary the more we talk about it, it's bringing it all back. I think for me, I was thinking, okay, literally one of the biggest radio names in the game, Bobby Bones. Like, I felt like that was another, like, I already have, like, there's, like, Eric Church talks about being an outsider. I remember thinking, well, if you're an outsider, where am I actually? Like, am I outside the outsider? You know, I remember thinking, like, so we had all those obstacles. And I think for me, I don't know that I went over there even like wanting to meet you behind the dumpster and fight. I think there was some of it that was like, hey, what's up, Aaron? But, you know, whatever. And I kind of was like, dude, I want to get this guy the album. If he could hear this album, this thing turned out really special. And I think, too, we were just, I mean, you know, like my manager now, Greg, you know, I couldn't get him to even take a whiff of it back in the day, you know? and it was just roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. And I think at the end of the day, I wanted people to know not just about me. I wanted people to know about Texas music. Like, I love country music. So I have enough music education that I could hear what mainstream radio is playing. And then I could hear some of the stuff that my buddies are playing. And I'm like, no. This stuff is good. And I was really getting fed up with people putting me in a box. And I used to say, were the Beach Boys popular in Kansas? Yes. Are there beaches in Kansas? No. Was West Coast rap popular in West Texas? Yes. I mean, I got a whipping for owning Dr. Dre's The Chronic. You know, your bark was loud, but your bite wasn't vicious. I know that album like the back of my hand, which is weird. And I use that now. I rap when I want to embarrass my daughter. And that's one of my, but it's one of those things. I think you and I were in a very similar place where we were both scratching, clawing for every inch of the way and having to actually fight for our little territory, our space. I think that's really, really probably what it was. But
when you talk about that, because it's funny how we're talking about it and stuff's coming up, because I don't remember writing that. I'm kind of proud that I predicted all the digital stuff, and I'm like, dude, I was kind of like Jim Morrison when you predicted computers would do music.
You straight up did. You're reading that, and I'm like, okay, wow.
This is, in my head, as another freaking cowboy telling me how to do my show.
Yeah.
Because that's all this town was.
Yeah.
Were cowboys telling me that everything I was doing was wrong. And again, it wasn't even you specifically. It was another cowboy coming to me saying, no, you don't get it. And me, in my box, as an outsider, I'm going, F you, dude.
Yeah, totally.
All you cowboys are doing is telling me how to do country music. I grew up on country music.
Yeah.
Just because I don't look like you doesn't mean I don't own an equal love.
Yeah.
And so in a very similar way,
makes sense.
You represented the system to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, screw that dude. And then the sweetheart thing, well, my person's upset. But it's funny how, and both stories are true because we each own a version of that story.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It is funny. But, I learned a lot from that. I can tell you what I learned from it. And I don't know that I've actually, I realize it until we're talking about it face to face. But my mom said something to me when we called with the follow-up call. I said, Mom, I don't feel like I did anything wrong. Well, besides breaking into his place. I go, but they're mad at me. I go, I called her sweetheart. And my mom said, baby, at the end of the day, if you hurt her feelings, you owe her an apology, whether you think you did anything right or wrong. So my mom came in clutch again, which she always is right, and I apologized. But it was what I learned from that situation is a lot of things that I'm applying now to social media. And the reason why people are like, where did you come from? And I was like, well, I've never taken social media serious. I had a guy tell me that I have become irrelevant. The last 5 years have been pretty hard on me. I've had 2 surgeries on my vocal cords where it's like anytime I feel like I'm finally ramping up and ready to go, I have to stop and go have surgery, and it shuts the whole thing down for. It's like you're ready to have the season of your life. And I've been feeling like that since almost 2020. Like I'm ready to have the best year of my career. And then I have vocal cord issues, and I have vocal cord issues again. And I'm finally for the first time in the clear. And I'm like, okay, let's go. And everybody talks about it's about social media. And I'm like, oh, I can do this. And I can do this good. And in the last, I'm pretty sure that in the last 5 months, we've had more growth than we had the previous 5 years. But I think what our experience taught me is if you live by the sword, you die by the sword.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like, make sure that you're willing to die on that hill. And also too, when I'm talking about another artist, I make sure that there's no hatefulness behind it. It's very important that I don't act like that. If there's someone that I don't care for, I'm not gonna go there. I talk about things. One artist told a fan to do something awful from the microphone, and it's unacceptable. And all the young artists can tell me that it's okay to drop F-bombs from the stage if they want to, but I don't think it's acceptable. I'm a dad, and I think that some of these young artists someday, when they have kids, and they understand how sensitive and precious those little ears are, they're going to change on that stage. They're going to go, I have no right to talk like that to fans who brought their children. And they can try to argue with me. I have experience arguing. I have 3 teenagers. So that's more of my standpoint of when we're, and then also too, I like to just be, I like to be funny. Like, it backfired on me this week.
Which one?
Well, I made one. A lot of artists get fed up with people throwing things at them, which I've been hit with everything. So a couple of girls threw those little baby Jesuses at me. So I made I thought it was funny. My wife didn't think it was funny. But I made a little like, I'm fed up with people throwing things. And I was like, would y'all look at what hit me in the, baby G. And so I was on stage. We played with Braxton Keith. We were in Arizona on a Saturday night. And the moment I hit the stage, it started raining baby Jesuses on me. 50 plus baby Jesuses bombed me. And part of me, it wasn't that the baby Jesus hurt. I'm trying not to laugh when I get smacked with the little baby Jesus. And I was like, yep. Baby Jesuses. I got a fine collection of baby Jesuses now. But it's top that I will say this, that the experience, there's a couple of things. Our album sales soared that week because of our little confrontation. And there's a couple of things I learned from it. You didn't do anything wrong by sticking up for your person, and I didn't do anything wrong for sticking up for the family business. And that's important. You have to do that. And if you want to be successful in any facet of your life, you have to be willing to do that. I mean, you are passionate about your brand, your people, and in the same way, I'm like, oh, heck no. I got songs on this album. 15 years into my career, I'm as good as anybody on radio. Give me my shot. And we were both willing to die on that hill. Now that we're older, we realize, okay, we were running hot, but you're not where you're at today if you hadn't have reacted how you reacted.
For sure.
And it's you gotta, I mean, that's the thing. There's not a great athlete out there besides Shohei Ohtani that's passive. Everybody has to be a bulldog. That guy is not from Japan. Yeah. He's from another planet.
He's from another planet. I agree.
So he's an alien.
I agree. Yeah, I think, and that guy, I don't know about you, but that bull, I'll call him the bull. He's still in there, and sometimes I feel uncomfortable when he starts to fight to get out.
Yeah,
and then I have to reevaluate, because I also think everything's wrestling at this point, even the fights. And I did a whole thing about Zach Bryan and Gavin Adcock, and I was like, to me as a spectator, I'm watching wrestling. It ain't real.
Yeah, I don't feel like it is either.
It ain't. I mean, to them it could be, but it's going to be over, and they're going to be doing a song together in 2 years.
Yeah,
like it's that. All of entertainment is wrestling, and you get it how you can get it. And when you get older, you're going to realize you got it in a very immature way.
Yeah. And now, if I see a video and they're just throwing punches and there is bloody noses, I'm going to be like, that's what I'm talking about.
And I think there would have been, but I would bet money. I would get on DraftKings right now, and I would bet that in the next 5 years they do something together.
Probably so, yeah.
Because
well, you were already right about the entire streaming world back in 2015.
That was, again, I'm pretty proud of that. I didn't even know I wrote that, but I'm pretty proud of that.
Do you know what, as you're rereading that, what I regret is, instead of being selfish and making it all about my music, why didn't I listen to the wisdom there and go, I need to invest?
There was no wisdom. It was guessing. It was all guessing.
But it was, yeah.
I did reach out to you a couple weeks ago, way before this was even set up, and it wasn't for any other purpose other than just to see what you're doing, watching you do it, and consistently, because I think anybody can do anything great a couple of times, but the hardest thing in the world is to do anything consistently. To me, consistency is currency. And to watch you consistently be good on social media and be present. Again, I was inspired by it. And so I sent you a message at like 10 o'clock at night, and I was like, dude,
made my day, by the way. Thank you.
I was like, I've been watching your stuff, and you got to know that I think the world of what you're doing, because it wasn't like 2 videos. It wasn't a couple that went viral. It was like over months and months and months. you were consistently compelling from a lot of different angles. And so now when I see people do things, I would like to recognize them, because I think sometimes it feels awfully lonely. We're making all this stuff, and for whatever reason, people don't communicate to us.
Yeah.
Either they
Yeah.
don't like it, they're jealous of it, they think everybody else is communicating to us, so why should they?
Mhm.
So I was just like, hey, dude, like, I love what you're doing. And I hope
Thanks,
that wasn't
man.
weird, but I did feel
No,
that way.
it was nice. It made my day because, I mean, I was chuckling as we're driving over here because I'm like, literally, it was almost 10 years ago where it kind of hit the fan.
Yeah, Sweetheart Fest.
The Sweetheart
Fest
Fest
2005 or whatever.
Yeah,
Yes.
And it was, you know, that Watson, he's an outlaw. He'll call a woman a sweetheart. I mean, but you know,
And that Bobby, he'll protect his people if
Bobby,
they're upset.
It does make sense that I've always said that I have this God-given ability of accidentally pissing off a woman, and I did it right there. You know, I just, you know, I'll look at my daughter now and go, "Hey, are you mad at me? What? You know, like, girl, I drove 30 minutes, took you into town to get you an acai bowl." I feel like you shouldn't be mad at me right now, but
What's it like having teenagers?
I love it. It's I can't believe that they're the age they're at.
Everyone says it flies.
Everyone told me that just yesterday when they were little.
Does it? Because again, I'm about to have a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's like, it's gonna fly, and I'm like, nothing really flies.
Well, I don't think that the first couple of years fly
oh yeah, great,
at all.
Great.
Yeah, at all. It's a life adjustment. It's a lifestyle adjustment. It's the culture changes on you. Next thing you know, you're revolving everything around your baby. But it's also one of those things that I'll give you a good example. I had a 1978 Z28 that I bought off eBay when my wife and I got married. And for 3 years, I saved up and I was fixing it up, redid the interior, put a new engine in it, new transmission in it, and I was getting it painted. This paint shop said, hey, we'll do it for a really good deal if we can just kind of do it when in between projects. I was so excited. I would drive up there and see progress that they had made, and I could not wait. I could not wait to get that car. They called me to tell me my Z28 was ready on March the 6th, 2006, a few hours after Jake was born. I forgot about the car. I never cared about the car again. And that always made me go, wow, that's crazy. Because for 3 years, I was obsessed with, like, I can't wait to get this car all souped up. The car sat out there. A kid came by the house one day and said, how much would you sell that car for? And I was like, I don't ever drive it. It's really hard to put a baby seat in the back of a old Z28. But I remember the kid brought like $3,500 in a shoebox. And it was worth probably 4 times that, but I was once 16 and would have given anything to have that car. But it is the coolest thing ever. And my oldest, I'll tell you, one of the reasons why I am the best version of me as an artist, and why, like, my 5-year plan is going to win. First of all, it's not about me. I want my kids to see me win. I want them to see me win. They're at an age right now where I'm telling them, if you work hard and you're willing to put in the time and the effort, you can do anything. And I've been preaching that. And now they're getting to watch me. And my oldest boy, Jake, is 19.
He comes out with you.
Yeah, plays the guitar. I mean, he's 100 times more talented than me. I'm not going to allow him to record songs until he can grow good sideburns. Because I'm like, dude, your voice is still changing and you can't grow sideburns. That's the deal. He's like, God, I want to freaking grow sideburns. And I'm like, he's like, Dad, when could you grow sideburns? I was like, I don't know. Until I was like 26. And he's like, no. And my middle boy Jack is all into business, Bitcoin, gold, silver, stocks. So we talk business. And then my daughter, she's like a young Aretha. Girl can just sing and she writes. And they're watching me and I'm having more fun. I'm having more fun than I've ever had in my life. I'm just different now. When we were on the stage at the American Rodeo in front of 50,000 people, I got up on that stage. I just looked around and I literally was like, thank you, Lord. Like, I'm the luckiest man in the world right now. Like, I'm lucky. It's not blessed. I'm just lucky. I'm lucky. And then last night, we just played to 500 people at a little place in Flagstaff, and I felt the same way. I had as much fun in front of 500 people last night as I did 50,000 people in Arlington. And it's just, I'm loving it. I'm writing better songs than I've ever written. And I understand the business better. And I also am like, oh man, like Willie didn't have his moment till his 40s. And so I don't know, I might get into acting. I don't know.
Really?
Oh yeah, I'm all about it. I am here to show every independent artist that you are in control of your destiny, and I will not be stopped. Dude, it's like I did not give social media the credit it deserved. I was being like just a fuddy-duddy about it, like this is a pain, this is stupid. But then I realized, oh man, do it right. And it gives you the opportunity to do what no other artist has ever been able to do in the history of music. And my streams are going up because why? Because I'm making a video. You know, I made one thing that I saw that was cool is I did a video on Father's Day about bread. David Gates, the songwriter, he wrote a song, and all my life, I thought this song was about like a girlfriend. It's like a love song, like she's gone. But I actually listened to the lyrics and I was like, oh my gosh, this is about his dad. And I have old record players and I played it. And the thing had like 10 million views, like 40,000 shares. And I thought to myself, you know what? I want to be more than the music. I've got this new YouTube series that we just started, and it's called Good Song. And it's where we do good things for people through music. And I've always, people,
Give me an example.
well, the basis of the show is people always say, how do you want to be remembered? And I always say, well, I'd like to be remembered as a guy. He loved Jesus. He loved his family. And he wrote a pretty good song. That would make me happy. And so it's called Good Song. And the first episode, we were in Amarillo. We went to the Veterans Hospital. My dad's 100% disabled from Vietnam. So I spent a lot of time up there with Daddy growing up doing volunteer work. I mean, we were just going room to room and visiting, but that had a huge impression on me as a kid. But we just took out some veterans, went and played golf with them, took them out to get a steak, brought their families to the concert, and just really just loved on them. And we're doing another one next month where we're going to Love and Care Ministries in Abilene. It's a homeless shelter. And man, I've got a guy at a place in Abilene called The Shed, and we've already talked about, dude, I'm like, dude, let's give these folks some New York strips. Let's give them something. Let's give them a wonderful experience. And just understanding, I say I'm lucky when I don't like to say blessed on certain things because I don't think that's fair. I don't think like, oh, I'm more blessed because, oh, God decided to bless me, but they're not blessing this person. I feel like I'm lucky. I feel like I have work ethic. But where I am blessed is I have this platform, much like you, where you've done a lot of great things. You use your platform to bless others. And that's a blessing to you. That you being able to do that to help others, that's the blessing. And so for me, something came across my feed, and some little boy in Illinois, his mom's page is Wonderful Life with Bedford. And Bedford is 2.5. He has this genetic disorder. He's handicapped, and they're just trying to raise some money so that he can have a playground that is suited for him. And I just reached out to the mom, and I was like, could I just try? Because it was my wife and I, we lost a little girl in 2010, and no, 2011. Golly, she'd be 14. And we lost her shortly after she was born. So I saw Bedford's post that week that it would have been her 14th birthday. And I thought, you know what? Let's celebrate Julia's birthday by doing something nice for Bedford. And so really that's where I'm having more fun than I've ever had in my life. I enjoy music more than I've ever had. Our shows are so good. Like, we are good. And I tell people we are good. I think we are the best band in country music. And that's not being arrogant. That's called believing in your guys, working hard, rehearsing. Also, we have been doing this for forever. We should be. We should have been the best band. We're about 10 years behind. So, but that you have to believe in yourself. You have to be a little crazy to do the things that you and me are doing. You have to be a little.
You have to have a bit of delusion.
Yep.
To be good, you got to have a whole lot of delusion to be great.
Hey, you love sports, right?
Big time.
Can you imagine starting a season and the coach going, man, if we could just come in third this year, you know how hard it would be to get on that field knowing that there's no expectation? Like, for me, I have an album coming out in March, Horse Named Texas. I want it to be the best album in country music. And my 5-year plan is I will put out 3 more albums. Also, I'm going to be blitzing. Hear that, country radio? I'm going to be blitzing you with singles for the next 5 years. Out of my pocket. I'm going to blitz country radio with the best songs of my career. Because I can. I'm in a dangerous point in my life where the house is paid off.
Yeah, now that I relate to too. I'm at a dangerous point in my life too.
It feels good.
I got no debt and I got extra money, so I do what I want to do.
Absolutely. And you've earned it. And you've absolutely earned it. And I've spent all this time being told why I can't do things. And I have no regrets for not pushing a bigger mainstream. I have no regrets for not trying to go bigger in 2015 through night. My kids were little. They cried when I would leave. And music didn't bring me a fraction of the happiness that I felt when I would walk through the front door and all 3 of them would tackle me. Now, you ask what it's like to have teenagers. Now I walk through the front door and I'm like, my dog, Bandy, she tackles me. She loves me. She loves me. It's my wife's dog. My wife says, well, the only reason that she loves you more is because you give her snackies and scratchies, because that's what I call it. And I'm like, that's that dog's love language. She loves snackies and scratchies. So of course she loves me more. But now I got to go to each kid's room and I'm like, Dad's home. Oh, hey, Daddy. But I'm like, oh, you'll miss me here in just a minute when you want to go to town to the bookstore, get another. Dude, I've spent about $1,500 this year in acai bowls.
The way I know you're not lying is you know how to pronounce it.
Yeah. I can. It even spells weird.
Yeah, it's like hi, but it's acai.
Yeah.
You've been around it enough.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But it's fun. It is the most fun you're ever going to have. Like, the hardest thing so far that I've experienced is I've been one of Jake's baseball coaches throughout his, we got 15 seasons. His first season when he was 3, T-ball. And so far the hardest thing was last game, they got knocked out of the playoffs, and he was holding it together good. until he got to me. And the boy just, the way he said daddy and just fell on me. And dude, I mean, for me, it's like baseball is life to me. I mean, I love baseball. Baseball,
You played ball too.
yeah, I got to play in college,
Yeah.
which was nice. I love baseball. And you know, my analogy of who I am, and I've been telling people, like where I'm at in my career right now, Roy Hobbs. That's what inspires me. Showed up, middle-aged. They said, he said, man, people don't start at your age, they retire. But man, I'm straight up gonna be the Roy Hobbs of country music these next 5 years.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
by using effectively a medium
Yeah.
that is being effectively used by young people.
Yeah. And it's amazing. I got asked to do I got asked by a media outlet, what are my thoughts on these artists that overnight go viral? And I said, it's wild to think that you could sing a song in a garage and then not long after that be selling thousands of tickets a night. I said, to me, that is intimidating.
I mean, that's Bailey Zimmerman.
Yeah.
He really hadn't sang
Yeah.
at all, even
Yeah.
to his friends a lot.
Yeah.
He sang one video, was working,
Yeah.
and I think it was a circumstantial as well because it was COVID and he was working oil,
Yeah.
working on the pipes,
Yeah.
and they were like furloughed.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, what else I got to do? Screw it. I got one video that
Yeah.
goes viral.
And I'll tell you, so a lot of people think that unless you're like more artsy, I won't like you because I kind of come from that singer-songwriter background, but I like that kid.
Oh,
And
me too. Love
I'll
him.
tell you why I like him. Well, first of all, he's corny. And I've got a whole bunch of him hanging out with my boys at the house. We have poker night at our house about every night. So I've got teenage boys everywhere. But what I like about Bailey is there was one video in particular that I think about that I was like, dude, you know, this kid could have the worst music ever, and I'm gonna like him. And I like some of his songs. I mean, he's doing it. But what made me like him was he does that corny thing where he's like, you know, that thing he does where he screams and
Yeah.
but he goes, y'all, like a couple of years ago, I'm singing in my basement, and now I got my freaking face on the side of an 18-wheeler. And he was like, thank you.
It was genuine.
That's genuine.
Yeah.
And I'm telling every artist listening to this, that right there will win the hearts. I mean, when people come up to me and it happens to me more than I like. But when I have people say, hey, I'm not the biggest fan of your music, but I like who you are and what you stand for, I'm always like, huh. Well, thank you. You bought a ticket tonight. So thanks for, I really wish, I'm going to try to do better. So you like my music.
Yeah. Sometimes someone will come up and go, hey, I'm not a fan, but like my sister is. Can I get a picture?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I wish you wouldn't lead with the first part. Like, you don't have to even say the first part. Just say like, hey, do you mind if I get a picture?
Yeah. Yeah. Could you just leave out the first
just
part?
say, Aaron, I just like what you stand for.
Yeah.
You can leave the other part out.
And also, could you leave out the part before that where you said, wow, you're a lot shorter than I thought. Could you leave out that part? Now I've been doing it for so long that I'm going to tell you, I have grown women walk up to me, grown women, and they'll say, oh my gosh, when I was a little girl, my dad used to listen to you in the truck.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, no, you're a grown woman. Ain't no way.
Yeah.
And then I start doing the math.
I get that too. Not the truck, but it's like
People
when
been
I was
listening
in
to you
third when I was
forever.
in third grade, we would listen to you, and I'm like, that can't be true.
Yeah.
And then I go, okay, we'll drop the 520.
Yep, it's true.
I got a question about the Christmas family tour you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
What is that?
Dude, one of my regrets is not starting that earlier. It is so much fun. We just pick a couple little Texas towns. We find some little theaters, and my entire family, we put on a show with my band. We integrate, traditional songs, songs about Jesus, songs about Santa. We have Santa show up. it is so much, dude. It is so much fun. I never thought I would love it as much as I love it, but now my kids, they can't wait to go. It kicks Christmas off. You know how sometimes it's like all of a sudden it's December the 1st, and then you blink and it's like December 22nd, and then Christmas is over, and you're like, I don't feel like I even got to experience Christmas this year. Well, since we started up our Christmas shows, it's so fun. And it's just something else to give the fans, a little something different. I would like to, make it even bigger someday. It's just
As in do more cities?
do more cities. I like the Christmas shows because I like the feedback. So many people are like, man, this has become a tradition for us. Like, it gets us out of the house. We go get dinner. We come see your show. It's just a ton of fun. And it's just one of those deals where I'm like, why didn't I start that earlier? And the whole family loves it. My wife actually does not really probably love it. She likes the time we spend together. We make her come out the last song and sing Silent Night with us. And I mean, yeah.
Sounds a bit like my wife.
Yeah, she's like, mm-mm.
My wife, mm-mm.
Mm-mm. Yeah, she gives me that. And so, but we have fun, and it's fun singing with Jolie. Jack doesn't care to sing. He's my middle boy. And, but he gets up there and reads some Bible verses, and it's just become a fun thing.
That's
I mean,
cool.
it's a blast. Thanks for asking about that.
We were talking about your tour before you came in and talking about the Christmas shows. I was like, I don't know anything about the Christmas shows. At least I didn't know, because it's Amarillo, Abilene, Lubbock.
Lubbock, yeah.
And so, yeah, that's cool.
We usually do more towns. I'm going to be at National Finals Rodeo for almost 2 weeks.
In Vegas?
In Vegas. We always play, I think for 15 years now, we've played the buckle ceremonies, and then we're doing a bunch of stuff promoting the new record. And so.
Horse Name Texas.
Horse Name Texas,
in
buddy.
March of next year.
March of next year. It's the one.
I've heard. Well, from you,
It's the one.
but I heard.
I mean, just ask me. I'll tell you how good it is.
You have to. If you don't believe in you, nobody else will.
Well, you know what? The other thing too is that you get this too because you love sports, and with us both being athletes, it's a different frame of mind. You have to sometimes talking big. It makes you step it up. It makes you push yourself. You have to back it up. Like when I told people a year ago, my goal was to put out one of the best albums in country music. When I went on record saying that started waking me up at 5 o'clock every morning to get up and write and write and write and write. And that's the same thing. Me going to radio right now saying, I've got a 5-year plan. I'm not sending you one single and then I'm going to disappear. There is a 5-year plan. 5-year plan. And at some point, it's going to get real redundant telling me no, and I just keep showing up.
It's an assigned credibility or assigned accountability.
5 years.
Yeah.
You can what it's saying to radio is you can depend on me. Like I will not say no. I'm here for country music. Any radio station that needs any help with a fundraiser, I'm lucky that I can help. And so for me, telling people like, dude, I'm putting out 3 more albums, it's got me working. And I'm at a place where the kids, they're busy. I mean, I'm fixing to have 2 in college. As long as I'm home enough to get her acai bowls, she's happy. You know what I'm saying? So
what's the YouTube channel?
It's just going to be Aaron Watson. It's just, yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
You're able to get it? You already have it?
What?
The YouTube channel, like your actual YouTube domain.
Yeah, we have it.
Oh, you already own
we
it?
have
Okay.
it. Yeah, we have
If you're planning on going to get...
No, yeah, we have it. We just have never utilized it.
Got it.
And that's really with all the socials. I've just never... We've had steady growth because I play shows, and there'll be a moment where I'd post something or do this or do that, but like, oh, dude, I've already got my next... Like while I was on the plane, I'm just... But also, I love to create. Like, I could write sitcoms. So really, I'm just doing little things. It's like if I can do something that makes people happy in the day and it makes them want to go play my music, that's what drives me. If you tell me by you doing this, people will go listen to your songs. That I'm sold. And why it took me forever to figure that out is I'm a slow learner, hard-headed, I don't know. But dude, I'm figuring it out, and I'm able to, I'm passing that on to my son Jake. I'm like, Jake, I don't want to see another cute country boy sitting on the edge of his bed singing songs. I want to see more about you. I go, I don't know, bud. Take some fun videos of you singing country music while you're playing golf on your daddy's dime,
You're mentoring him on social media.
Yeah. And I'm literally saying, dude, I want to know more about you. Make me believe in you. Separate yourself from because I'm telling you, it's overwhelming how many talented countries. Every time I scroll, I come across some kid with no followers that sounds like Keith Whitley. And I'm like, well, I'm still trying to sound like Keith Whitley, but I love that I'm at a place in my career where I truly believe, I really feel like I'm just getting started. Like I really feel like I'm just getting started. I want to go back. I wish I could go back and tell me years ago, like, dude, every moment you get to step on that stage. But I think I was so distracted by the haters that I like you were saying, how you were 10 years ago. Everyone hated you in this town, and you were just ready to go toe to toe with people. I was a lot like that too. And I think what that does is it keeps you from enjoying that moment. Like, oh my gosh, I got to play the Houston Rodeo. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. I mean, the things I've gotten to do. And I'm kind of like, man, I wish I would have soaked that in more. But now I get it. I get it. And I can share that with others. I'm like, man, anytime you get on that stage, man, man, you don't have to do it. You get to do it.
Well, man, I really appreciate the time.
Dude, I do. Thanks for having me, brother.
Are you kidding? This is awesome. And again, when I reached out, it was never, hey, man, come do this. It was just like I admired what you were doing, wanted you to know that. And then I was like, hey, if Aaron's in town, like I would love to have him up and just talk for an hour and see what's up. So, yeah, looking forward to the music.
Yeah.
If I happen to be in Abilene or Lubbock or Amarillo, I'll stop by the Christmas show.
Come on by.
You know what? I got a feeling I won't be near, but if I happen to be there.
Well, dude, here's what you do need to do.
That sounds fun.
Hey, what you do need to do is this. You need to text me when you're like, got questions about the dad thing. I can probably tell you more things to not do. But, dude, I'll tell you, talking about Christmas, you're going to have the greatest Christmas of your life next year. I mean, like this Christmas, what we're doing after our Christmas shows are done, we're all flying to Disney World and we spend Christmas there. We have fun, make everybody put up their phones. I mean, it's just one of those deals. It's like, it's wild. And I'll tell you this. So, because we were talking about, everyone says it goes by so fast. Saturday night, we played 2 shows with Braxton Keith this week. And Braxton and Jake are just hanging out in the back of my bus for forever. And because I'm like, golly, they're like so close in age. I'm like literally old enough to be Braxton's dad, right? And after they left, I told Jake, because Jake had to fly out on Sunday because he has college on Monday. So we were flying him back. And I was already in my bunk and he was back there. And I opened the curtain and I said, hey, Jake. And he said, yeah, Dad. I go, I am so proud that you're my boy. I said, I love you. And he goes, I love you, Dad. And he did this little grin that he has done his whole life. And I looked at, we locked eyes. You know, the kid's 19 years old, but we locked eyes. And dude, I could see him as it was like he was 3 again. And then I think I shut the curtain and cried, but it's fine. But dude, you're going to love it. It's the best thing in the world. I mean, you just, man, yeah, don't blink. And do y'all know do you know what you're having yet?
Yeah.
Is it you keeping it silent?
Yeah.
Nice.
I would keep nothing silent. My wife would keep everything silent.
Yeah.
So we're negotiating
Well, good luck with your
That-
negotiations.
I know. Yeah, I lose most of those.
Yeah,
I've learned,
I am not a good negotiator, apparently. You know, it's funny. I bet you're a good negotiator with anything
Everything
that's not involved
but her.
Yeah.
Yep, everything
Man,
but her.
dude, we're the same dude.
Yeah. I'm tough to deal with until it's her, and then I pretty much lose them all.
Yeah.
Good to see you, man.
Hey, it's good to see you too, bud. Thanks for having me.